Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. It's a Tuesday night. You made it out. That's awesome. So these people in this room are what make up this community, and the better your relationships are with the people in this room and at your table, the better it's going to be for our community and our businesses.
We have an amazing speaker tonight. Our speaker tonight is our very own city manager, Mr. Thaddeus McCormack.
We are in the midst of significant change. Where that will take us, I'm not sure. So let me talk a little bit about that, and it's not my intention to be political or partisan. That's kind of part of the city manager DNA, is to be really kind of apolitical, so that's not my intention here. I don't think you need to be a social scientist to recognize that the levels of political and partisan polarization that exist today are near all-time highs. We seem to become less connected, and that's kind of ironic in an era of the internet where you can reach out and touch people all around the globe, but that touch isn't really physical, right? It's this kind of virtual connection that we have, and so that connectivity that we have, purports to allow us to communicate with one another in ways that history has never seen. But that's kind of the problem, because we're connected online but not in person, right? And further aggravating that disconnection is how we relate to one another online and with whom. We tend to connect to people who are like-minded, and so we operate in these kind of echo chambers. And it, so that the internet does a pretty good job of connecting people who are like-minded, and it also, because of that lack of personal connection, it allows people to kind of demonize people who don't agree with them, and that's the world that we live in 2018, where we tend to surround ourselves with people who agree with us and easily denigrate and not just kind of disagree with people, but we demonize them. And so we're fractured like we've never been before as a country, and we've become a country of us's and them's, and we lost the we somewhere down the line. And because information, accurate or not, is so readily available at our fingertips and on our phones, right, on these gadgets that we have. And again, our ability to voice our opinions, accurate or not, is so easy. And because we no longer connect with our fellow citizens in meaningful and personal ways, we seem to be calling into question the need and the value of representative democracy. And that's something that, as a city manager, I really, really believe in. We seem to be teetering on the verge of either authoritarian rule or and I'm not talking about you, Jeff. But so we have, either we're on the verge of authoritarian rule, or just kind of this rule by the masses where everything's going to be settled by like Survey Monkey, right? We're just, and really what's lost in there is the sense of representative democracy. And so the trust in institutions and our leaders is gone out the door. And so we really need to find a way, I think, to connect with one another in more meaningful ways. And Abraham Lincoln, in another point of dissension in this country, said a house divided cannot stand, and that's really sort of apropos to today. But having said that, it reminds us that we've gone through these types of points of contention before, and we've come out more strongly. and stronger on the other side. And as I've gotten older, strangely, I've gotten a little more optimistic. And so I think we're going to get through that. And maybe Lakewood, I think, can be a model to show us the way out. So I think focusing on our values is really the pathway. And we can go there, times change, values don't. So I think that really is prescient. Lakewood's values have allowed us here to withstand the tensions that have tugged at greater society. So Lakewood went through the 60s. Lakewood went through the Watergate era and everything that followed after it. And yet it always remained stable. And for me, the values that we talk about really are the values that are found in the Declaration of Independence. Lakewood was born in the post-World War era, by and large, by young families who came here, put down roots in a community where they could pursue happiness and achieve the American dream. And that was a time when we as Americans could do and dream big things. And sadly, I think as a country, over the decades, we stopped aspiring to great things, and we no longer aspire to great things. But Lakewood is the exception to that rule, because Lakewood continues to aspire to be a great community, and that one that lives up to those. And it sounds grandiose and all that, but I really do think it strives to live up to those values that are articulated in the Declaration. And so part of that is people living freely, right? But a big part of that are the obligations that we take upon ourselves to work together for the betterment of the community. And that really defines Lakewood, doesn't it? I've heard a lot about Lakewood taking pride in being the most boring city. And as a city manager, I certainly appreciate boring. Boring can be okay. But to me, that shouldn't mean that we're not relevant, because I think, in fact, that the values that we talk about here are more relevant now than ever. And as I said, I think they maybe offer a way out of this chaos that we're going through right now. So that's kind of my observation and coming in to Lakewood. I appreciate you humoring me on my kind of wannabe professor mentality.
Guys, one big round of applause. Thaddeus McCormack.